This hour is brought to you by Jeremy Temple Law Office of Bloomington. Personal injury, criminal, business, whatever you need, Jeremy Temple Law Office will get you taken care of.
Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin yang, come along.
Well, come on along and welcome aboard Indiana Sports Beat with Coy O'Leary here on this Wednesday. And it is game day as the Big Ten tournament gets underway in Indianapolis at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Jim Coyle along with Todd Leary. We've got Jake at the wheel keeping things on the track, and we've got a great big show today. Calbert Cheney is going to join us, the all-time leading scorer from the Big Ten, and, of course, for Indiana. Looking forward to that. But it is game day, Todd Leary, and, man, that's all I want to hear.
Yeah, it is, and it's Big Ten tournament time, which, it's time for Indiana to start a new tradition of being really good in the Big Ten tournament.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Man, a lot better than the old one. I'm trying to remember. I saw their record the other day in this tournament, and it's abhorrent. It's absolutely abysmally bad. But it's weird because even though that has coincided a lot with a period where Indiana has not been at its best, it's worse than that. I don't get it. It's like It's such a weird anomaly.
It really is, and it's been it's almost like being a free throw shooter and being a decent free throw shooter, and then it gets in your head when you start missing a few, and now it's truly been in their head because they've lost some first round games that you're just like that is not a losable game. It's crazy.
Yeah, big day today for Indiana as they take on Nebraska this evening up in Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Nebraska bringing in the horses. They're short. They're -2 of their starting guards. The point spread right now, I think just checked. Jake said it's 14 now, Indiana in their favor. Vedral, their quarterback, one of the guys they're bringing on. He could be a Nebraska athlete, maybe the first in a long time to lose to Indiana in two major sports in the same season.
Well, maybe he's a baseball player too. And
there you go.
Put him on the roster, and he can just make it a trifecta.
I like where your head's at. How about the coronavirus, man? It's still spreading. The MAC in the Big West, I think they have fan bans now. They have banned fans from their tournaments. The Ivy League went one worse. They said, screw it. We're not even going to have a tournament. They're not even having a tournament. That is the most idiotic thing I've ever heard, I think.
Well, when did I miss the memo? I thought the Ivy League was the only school that didn't have a tournament anyway.
No, I think that's
if they
say it again, Jake.
It's only like 3 years old.
Is it?
Oh.
Yeah, I knew it couldn't have been very old.
But they're sending they're sending their regular season champion, which is how it should be.
Which is what they used to do anyway.
Which is what it should be. I think the regular season champion. How do they not deserve an automatic bid? I mean, we talked about this yesterday. These tournaments are for money, and they do that. But oh well. But yeah. But you do have to look at the fact that all the other participants and teams and players, those guys don't even get a shot at playing. I don't understand why they couldn't have just gone ahead and held the tournament without fans. I mean, what's the deal?
Yeah, no, I'm with you, and that's what a lot of a couple other conferences are already doing. But I mean, I understand.
They are on that East Coast.
I understand your point of view and what you're saying, where they should send the regular season champion, but that's what kind of makes it March Madness. I mean,
you're right. It kicks. What better way to kickstart the big tournament than a little mini tournament? I mean,
well, and you know what some of the conferences do, which I really like. Also, is you play all year long to win the conference. Win the outright regular season conference, and if you do, you get to host the tournament at your arena. I like that. I like there being something to play for all year long.
I know they wouldn't like it. If you played in the Big 12, you wouldn't like it. You'd be in Kansas every year.
Yeah, true. Well, but I mean, they don't do it. Obviously,
I'm kidding.
The Power Fives don't. But
yeah,
the smaller conferences, I think. I mean, I like the You know, it's what makes
Absolutely.
championship week.
You're right. I mean, it is. I mean, just like today, tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow and Friday. The games that we're going to be able to see, my gosh, just think that right there. You've got, because how many teams are ranked right now in the Big Ten? I don't even remember how many they have ranked.
Well, there was 8 going in.
Yeah, so
8 last week. I don't know how many there are this week.
So that means you're going to be Friday. The odds of seeing a team play that's not ranked going to be very low.
Every single game will have one. That's for sure.
So it's going to be an incredible tournament, the best tournament in the country probably coming up. I mean, this is going to be a bloodbath because guys are still trying to raise their seed lines. I mean, those guys that are 4 seeds, Michigan State, they want to be a 3 seed. It matters. It makes a big difference because if you're 4, you're playing 1. It's just there's so
everybody's
much,
got something to play for. There's no doubt about that. Now there becomes the issue of, you know, the Purdue's of the world they're going to battle their brains out trying to get into this tournament. And that's just a fun, that's when, that the effort level is always there. But when you get a situation like this where you're battling for, continuing to be able to play, these games are going to be crazy. They'll be fun.
Nobody's playing for a bigger marble than Indiana right now though, because they don't have to win this game to get in. They just have to not lose this game to get in, which I know it sounds weird to say that, but they just have to take care of business. They're a 14-point favorite. Just do your deal and they'll be fine. What's helping them, I think, our intern, our crack intern, Jimmy Sutton. I've had him on an assignment keeping track of the bid stealers. And thus far, it looks like they're not hurting too much.
Yeah.
They're not hurting the deal. I mean, you've got mostly chalk coming through there. At least, let's see, number 1 Radford lost in the Big South, but number 2 ended up winning. So I think that they're not going to add an extra.
And that was a 1-bid league anyway.
Yeah. Missouri Valley, that's one. Northern Iowa, that really kind of hurt someone, but they're no longer projected in the tournament. So that really hurt them because
the Northern Iowa game was going to be one of 2 ways. If they had won a couple of games in their tournament, I think that they would have probably, if you're on the bubble,
they couldn't lose early like they did.
If you are on the bubble, you either wanted them to win the whole thing or lose the first game, and they lost the first game. So
unbelievably,
there would have to be a lot of other things go in their direction in order for them to get in. But right now they're out.
Let's see, San Diego.
I mean, Wright State was one.
The Mountain West is going to have 1 bid stealer in Utah State because San Diego State lost in the championship. They were that's a 1 big bid league normally, but so that's one. But that's like the only one that I'm seeing that's really kind of jumping out. And most of the bracketologists had Utah State in anyway. They would just have.
Oh,
they did. Okay.
Yeah, they had them in at like an 11 seed.
So
anyway,
it's really it's not hurting them right now. The bid stealers are not taking a bite, but yet there are a large number of conference tournaments yet to be played.
And you heard Lenardi. You heard Mike DeCourcy talk about it yesterday. The 2 conferences to really keep an eye on are the A-10 and the American Athletic Conference. I mean, Indiana, all the bubble teams for that matter, really want Dayton to go through and win their conference. Rhode Island and Richmond and St. Louis all kind of have a chance. They're all kind of right there. More likely Richmond and Rhode Island. But you want Dayton to win that tournament. And they probably should. I mean, they're undefeated so far through their league right now. But the conference that's going to be the goofy one is the American Athletic with Houston, Tulsa, Cincinnati, Wichita State, and Memphis. And I say that from the standpoint of I don't think Memphis will get in. I don't think it's right on the bubble as to whether Cincinnati or Wichita State will get in. But all of those teams, you can even add SMU into that. All of those teams have the ability to beat each other. And so Houston's going to get in no matter what, whether they win the conference tournament or not. So there could definitely be a bid stolen out of that one if Houston doesn't win the tournament.
They're hitting the text lineup this morning. You can do the same. That number is 812 269-6367, 812-269-6367. Hit us up on the text line. Larry in Bloomington did. He said that just watched a rerun of the confrontation between McCaffrey and the Illinois player. Illinois coach had better rein him in because he's going to start a fight. Looks like that was his intention. You talked about that kid before. That's the guy that I think that's the guy that Al Durham maybe or someone had some words with. I can't remember.
Finney.
Yeah.
It's DeMonte Williams, and he has back-to-back Sundays. He tried to start fights with people.
Jennifer from Evansville says, what are Todd's thoughts on the addition of the Nebraska football players to the basketball team? Will they be banging around us more than usual? No, they brought in a quarterback for one, so he's not going to be a banger.
The other one's 6'7", 300 pounds.
He's going to be banging.
He's going to be a banger.
That is his job. If you were a hockey fan, he's the enforcer.
Yeah, I saw the quarterback is a two-time All-State basketball player.
I think he won 3 state championships.
He won at least 2. I know that, and he scored 1,200 points in high school. So, he's probably about the third leading scorer on their team right now.
Alan down in Birdseye hitting up on the unnamed text line. Hint, hint. Happy Hoosier Day, going to get a win for sure to be in. Alan's feeling good. Sally in Evansville, the football player subbing in for Nebraska who haven't played basketball in years, better not end up hurting any of our players. One of them, I think, is a quarterback. Yep, they're good, Sally. Don't worry. I think they'll be fine. And Tim says, so we are projected as a 10 seed playing Virginia and Albany. Yeah, I don't look at any of that crap other than the seed line, who they play, where they are. That's the one thing I think about the bracketology that I don't know how accurate that portion of it is. It may be somewhat, but yeah, where they are I, until it actually comes out, that part or who they're playing, I don't look at. But the seed line, I agree with. I think they're going to end up as around a 10.
Yeah, and they can make a run. They can make a run.
And they can, because we've talked about it. It is set up for them to do just that.
It really is.
If it is set up for any team to really salvage kind of a semi-crappy year, it's set up for Indiana right now because they can make a run all the way to Saturday, at least.
Yeah, they really could. And that's not even like pie in the sky. That's actually, it's very possible that could be the case. They've got to play well, no doubt about that. But, the thing about the seeds and the bracketologists and all that, like it used to be a lot more of a guessing game than what it is now. Because really what the bracketologists do is they sit down and they figure out, what teams are going to be in, and then they start figuring out who's going to be seeded where. And once you pick the 4-10 seeds, you know that the 4 seeds playing the 5 seed, and you know that the 3's playing the 6, and you know who's playing who at that point. And so they try to take the lower seed and put them as close to home as possible. And that's what's different in the last 10 years versus the way it used to be. It used to just be helter-skelter. Indiana could go to California. It wouldn't matter.
And they did many times.
And they try to regionalize it now, but they do it based on the lower seeded team. So you can take a look at, even as a 10 seed, I'm just saying it's more of an you're right, it's a guess, but it's more of an educated guess than what it used to be.
You're exactly right, and that's so much better. I mean, I'm sure you wish it had been that way when you were playing.
No, I loved it when we went as far away. I just always wanted to go somewhere warm. Like that's right. That was my main goal. Obviously you want a good seed. You look at who you're going to play. That used to be what we did at Indiana all the time. As soon as the bracket came out, we were always, the first thing we did was look to see who we played next because we always assumed we were winning the first game no matter what. And we were just looking to see who you played next and then who you would have to play, in the Sweet 16 and I don't know, we were cocky. We just always assumed we were winning a couple games.
Later on in the program, we'll talk about playing in this Big Ten tournament, different than playing in the NCAA tournament, different than playing in the regular season. Because now you've gone from having, minimum three days and sometimes a week between games Big Ten tournament, bang, 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 bang. NCAA tournament every other day, different schools, different styles. And the difference between playing again in regular season, you know the style of play you're going to be going up against. You're familiar with the Big Ten teams. Now it's like once you get out of this league next week, it's like who you playing, what style, different style. And then you, right after that, a completely new different style you're going to be playing. So it's so many different ways we'll be talking about later on in the program with you. And of course, coming up next, the great Calbert Cheney, former Hoosier great, then all-time leading scorer of the Big Ten. Stay tuned. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Larry. We're coming back to you from the Golf Club Eagle Point Studios right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made for sale. Whether you're the team for that post-win meeting in the family dining area, being friends, happy hour, watching the game on Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
All winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Street in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Street has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make it tea time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Hey, it's Michael Lewis, former Indiana University player and current UCLA assistant basketball coach, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat here on this Wednesday. Coyle Larry with you as always, coming to you from the Golf Club Eagle Point Studios. Could not be happier than to welcome in the all-time leading scorer in the Big Ten and the greatest left-handed shooter around, Calbert Cheney. Calbert, how are you, my man?
How you doing?
Great. Got Todd Larry here with us as well.
Good thing you said left-handed shooter on there.
What's up? I hear you too. Yeah, you weren't bad yourself though.
Oh, I meant Pat Graham. I was saying Pat Graham.
No, I meant you.
How you doing, buddy?
Good. How you doing?
Oh man, we're great.
How's it going with Calbert Cheney? I know you guys have been traveling. Are you still up in Canada?
Yeah, we're in Toronto. We got a 2-game set with them, so this is the second game of our 2-game set. We played them today, so hopefully we can get this one. We lost a tough one a couple nights ago, but hopefully we can make some adjustments and see if we can't get this one tonight.
And Calvert coaching in the G League. What are, of course, aspirations? Obviously, you're coaching. So, college, the pros, does it matter? What's your goals as far as coaching wise?
Well, my primary concern is, like I said, just take one step at a time. I don't try to look at, what I'm trying. If I start worrying about what type of goals, everything of that nature, I tend to. I don't want to lose myself in that. So what I try to do is I just try to coach and develop and try to help out as much as I can. And whatever happens, happens. That's the attitude I've always had, and it's worked well for me. So I'm just going to continue to run that course.
I think that when it comes to coaching, a lot of people, the differences between coaching in college and coaching someone, say, like Todd Leary, or coaching in the pros, who you are, the guys you have right now, what's the differences between coaching those levels?
There's not much difference in terms of like the basketball aspect. I mean, you continue to try to help develop and try to help them get better, try to help them realize their potential, and be, it being on the court or watching film, and hopefully they'll get it at some point. I think, but the main difference I think has to do with, college and at this level, or college at this level and college at the coaching at this level and coaching at the college level is, I think, the recruiting. You got to recruit. There are a lot more things that you have to go into the college game. It's like I said, recruiting, the camps, the constant being on the phone, talking to kids, talking to their families, to their parents. Like I said, the constant recruiting. So that's probably the only difference. And I'm not saying that that's bad. It's just that at this level, you're more concentrated on the game itself and trying to help these guys get better, help them try to realize their dream. That's trying to play in the NBA or play overseas and have a nice career at it.
Hey, Cal, if you've got just say the average 12 to 15 man roster on your G League team, how many guys get sent up to the NBA in a season? Does it happen a lot?
It can. It depends on the team. With our team, I think we're the College Park Skyhawks, the Atlanta Hawks. Our guys are pretty much locked in right now because at the Hawks level, they have their roster is pretty much full. So our guys, if they're going to get an opportunity, they would probably have to get an opportunity with another team, which is always a possibility. Last year we were up in Erie. Last year when we were up in Erie, we had toward the end of our season, we had 3 guys get called up. Isaac Humphries got called up. Terrence Jones got called up to Houston, and then we also had Jordan Seibert. He got called up for a 10-day with the Hawks. So we had 3 guys. So this year we haven't had any this year. So, but it being toward the end of our season right now, it could be a possibility with one of our guys.
Well, enough of serious talk. Now we got to have fun. The tournament, the Big Ten tournament starts today. The NCAA tournament coming around, of course. A lot of talk with the coronavirus. Is that affecting you guys? How much is that affecting you and your travel and all that?
No, we're still doing our thing. I mean, obviously, we're just trying to. We got probably, I think, every member of our basketball team and staff have hand sanitizer. So we don't have a shortage of hand sanitizer. So we just try to keep ourselves clean and like I said. But everything's still the same with us. We got a game tonight. Then we travel in the morning and go back to Atlanta. So nothing has really changed.
Yeah, Indiana plays tonight as well. The Big Ten tournament getting underway, of course. The tournament time, since all the guys on your roster, of course, they probably played college someplace here. That's got to be a fun time for the guys as a player, to kind of almost a distraction from the normal day, the rigors of travel and all that.
Yeah, no doubt. Right now we don't really talk about it as much, but once it starts to roll around, we will definitely be talking about it. So. We've got a couple guys on our team that, matter of fact, Jordan Seibert, who's, went to Dayton, is talking a lot of smack right now because their team's third ranked in the country. So he's got an opportunity to talk a little stuff. And then we got, Sheldon Williams, who's a Duke guy. Everybody hates Duke. So
That's right.
so Sheldon's constantly having to defend himself. So
Understood.
we're having a fun time. Like I said, we got all kinds of our guys come from all different parts of the country, and obviously they go to different schools. So we really enjoy having them, and we really enjoy teaching and coaching them.
I know you're busy out on the road. Don't get a lot of time, especially like tonight. You have a game, but do you get a chance to watch Indiana much at all, to follow them during the season?
Yes, I've seen them about 5 or 6 times this year, and like I said, they've. I think the one thing with them is probably they're a little inconsistent, but at the same time they're a young team, so that comes with inconsistency. I mean, Todd can attest to this. We were freshmen. We supposedly had the number 1 recruiting class in the nation as freshmen. And then we get off to a great start in the pre-conference season. I think we started out maybe 10 or 11-0, and then Then once we start the conference season, we go 8-10 in the conference, and we barely get into the tournament, and then we lose in the first round. So, so they're young and they're trying to get there. And I think the thing is with Archie, we got to give them an opportunity. And I think the one thing that separates a lot of the great teams with the mediocre teams is that with the Kansas, the Dukes, and North Carolina is that the longevity of the coaching staff. So I think one of the things you got to do is you need time to get what you want. You need time to instill the system that you want, and you got to take some time. So hopefully, the Indiana faithful, who I love dearly, can just stay patient and just hope that everything gets a little bit better. And Archie has improved over the last 3 seasons, so. We just got to continue to try to stay the course and continue to see if we can't keep ascending.
Yeah, and there's a lot of talk, but he until he gets all of his own players in, because he plays a different style. And as a coach, when you come into a situation where players that were brought in, they played a different style. Well, how hard is that to meld those when those styles are not similar?
It's tough, but like I said, but at the same time, the one thing that as a coaching staff, we deal with the same thing. The coaching staff and as players, it goes hand in hand. You got to meet each other halfway. It's up to the players to try to buy into what the coach is selling. And so hopefully, if we can do that, then like I said, chemistry starts to build. And then, like I said, now all of a sudden you've got a successful basketball team.
Todd, you guys, how much fun did you guys have in the tournament, or was there more stress than fun during tournament time for you guys?
I tell them all the time, Cal, the fun part about the tournament is our practices were real easy. We basically just shot around and shot free throws and stuff. Once you get to this point in the season, it's just, the excitement and I always loved this time of year, like Sunday when the brackets would come out. A lot of the schools nowadays, you see them, they've got the big parties and stuff going on. Heck, I think we just sat there in the locker room. You remember we'd sit there in the locker room and watch a little 17-inch TV, right. And they'd put it up on the screen, and we'd all go, all right, well, we're off to Albuquerque, and we'd all walk out the door. It was no big deal.
Exactly, and with us, I think I don't know if it's still the same. I don't know if the Big Ten still does the same thing or the way it's set up. But we would always the Big Ten conference always was the last conference to finish up before they had selection Sunday. Yep. And so I think we ended up winning it at Wisconsin. We won the Big Ten title. We had already won the Big Ten title, but we win it. We win at Wisconsin, and then we. I think didn't we stay in the locker room or did we head back? I can't remember if we headed back.
We stayed in the locker room for about 10 minutes.
Yeah,
and that was it.
Yeah,
and then
we went back and we saw we were number 1 seed. We went, we were in Indianapolis. So, these big parties and stuff. Times have changed, but at the same time, the objective stays the same. Obviously, you want to get in there and you got to win 7 games or 6 games to win the championship. And you just take one game at a time, and that's the great thing about it. And the way it's set up now is that there's no one team that's really a favorite. That's what makes it even more exciting. The fact that you don't know who's going to win the national championship, and that's a lot of fun. I think that's great for the NCAA and the NCAA tournament itself.
One of the weird things we were talking about earlier, Calvert, is Indiana, as successful as they have been, and even when during their downtimes, they still had great periods. But the Big Ten tournament has just been an unbelievable albatross for them. They just are horrible in this tournament, and it's weird. We were just talking about we can't figure out why, but it is just not something that has been good to Indiana.
Yeah, that's true. But like I said, I mean, at the end of the day, you just got to continue to just have hope. I mean, that's all you could do. Hopefully, Indiana has, they got Nebraska today to start to kick off the conference tournament. And so hopefully we get this win and get another win. And I think, if we get maybe 20, 21 wins, I think we have an opportunity to get into the tournament. And but as you know, anytime you get into the tournament, anything can happen. So I think, right now, I think in terms of our team, the Hoosiers, they got to concentrate on getting this win today, and then hopefully maybe see if they can get another win tomorrow. So just continue to have faith, everybody.
Will do.
Hey, Calvert, and I'm not talking about now or next year or any time, but could you one day see yourself coaching at IU?
I don't look at it like that, man. No, I would never. That's not a good question to ask. So I'm just like I said, I'm all about
what's going
on right now. I've always been about the university and I'm about the basketball program, and no matter who's at the helm, I'm going to support, and that's all that matters to me. The Indiana University and the Indiana University basketball program have been good to me. So I just try to pay it forward and try to help out any way I can. So.
Hey, Cal,
that's the attitude I've always had, and that's the attitude I'm always going to have. Todd, you should know that by now.
No doubt. I knew you'd be all business about that answer. Hey, one question for you though, Cal. Have you talked to Chris Reynolds about, because it's not like someone's being fired. Fred Glass is stepping down. So have you talked to Chris about the possibility of him, at least interviewing or talking about the AD position?
No, I have not.
Yeah.
Every time I talk to Chris, whether we talk, we text, it's just about how the family's doing, just seeing how everything is going with him. And
awesome.
He wants to see how everything is going with me. Matter of fact, when his team Bradley just won the NBC, they won the NBC conference title.
I saw that.
Great Valley conference title. I texted him, told him congratulations, and he said thanks, and talk about family and all that other stuff. And that's basically how we've always, our relationship has always been. It's always about, just like I said, making sure everybody's okay. But no, I have not talked to him about that at all.
Got it.
Well, Calvert, man, I cannot thank you enough. Where's your next stop? Once you leave Canada, where you guys got to head? How much longer is your season? I know there's an 82-game season for the NBA. How long does your all season go?
It's a 50-game season for the G League. So we're at we play Raptors 9:05 tonight, and then we head back. Then we play Friday, Saturday. We play Friday against the Memphis Hustle, who is the Grizzlies affiliate. And then we play Sioux Falls, which is the Miami Heat affiliate, on Saturday. And then we'll have like 4 or 5 days off. But our season ends March 28th, provided that we don't get to the playoffs. We're in a playoff race right now. We're on the outside looking in. So hopefully we can put this together, get this in the night, and then try to get to it home on this weekend. And I think we'll be in decent shape. So hopefully we can keep it going.
Calvert, man, I cannot thank you enough. We wish you all the best of luck in the remainder of your season, and I hope you can get into playoffs there and keep following the Hoosiers. Thanks a lot for joining me and Todd today. We greatly appreciate it.
See you, Cal.
Appreciate you guys. Take care. Have a good day.
There you go. There's Calvert Chaney, the all-time leading scorer of the Big Ten, former Hoosier great, joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat. Man, he's a good one. Busy, golly, they are just so busy. It is nonstop. It's a grind. It's a grind.
That league, it's exactly right. That league is a grind, and
they're not flying first class, and they're not flying private either.
Yeah, I mean, the funny part about Cal is, he's a great person to be around in person. I always make fun of him because he's a terrible interview because he's too all business. I mean, the dude is all business all the time.
Serious.
And that's what, I'm asked the question a lot of times, at different speaking things or whatever about teammates. And I have never answered this question any differently. Calvert Chaney is the best teammate I've ever had at any level. And he's the best leader. He's the best everything. And he's a quiet guy. He doesn't talk a whole lot and he doesn't have to, but when he has to say something, he does. And man, I remember one time being in the locker room and Calvert just sitting there and everybody was, we were talking about who we were playing and all that. And Calvert, we were all kind of looking forward and Calvert was like, guys, hey, stop looking down the road. Just exactly like he was just a minute ago. He was like, stop looking down the road. Let's win this game. Let's play this game. And it was a game that didn't matter. It was a worthless game. We knew we were going to win. It was whatever. And Cal just always kind of reins everybody back in. And even it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it's older guys or new young guys that come in. Everybody, when Cal starts to talk, I mean, he's like E.F. Hutton. When Cal talks, everybody listens because what he's going to say is valid and important.
Absolutely. That's, man, great to have him on. The great Cal Braceni joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat. We got lots more coming up. It is game day. Indiana is in action in Indianapolis. The Big Ten tournament gets underway today. We got plenty more to talk about. We're back right here to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is A.J. Moyer.
This is Dan Dawkins.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic. Safe. Effective. Even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Hi, this is A.J. Moyer, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
To get Armand going a little bit too, I kick myself. Sometimes as a coach, you always want to go back and redo it, but I think Armand's a big thing. Big deal going into this next tournament and on beyond is how many games we play. I really believe is Armand's productivity here coming through. And I don't know what Devontae will be able to give us early in this tournament. If anything, he didn't practice today. So hopefully we can get him off the schneid and get him some minutes.
Armand's best game of the season.
There was Archie Miller on his radio show with the great voice of the Hoosiers, Don Fisher, talking about his Hoosiers. They open up the Big Ten play tonight up at Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, taking on the Nebraska Cornhuskers and part of their football team. Kidding. But Indiana looking to they are a 14-point favorite, and that line has just kind of grown a little bit, especially with the fact that Nebraska's without two of their two starting guards. This should be a good get-well game for Indiana, Todd, and they should be able to prepare for I know you cannot look ahead, but this should be a good get-well game where they can start preparing for Penn State.
Yeah.
Dangerous words, huh?
Cam Mack's more than just, he's been the guy for them that has really, ran their offense and got them going. I mean, he's been when they've had games and had an opportunity to win, it's because Cam Mack has gotten a lot of things going, not just for himself, but for the other guys. He's so fast with the basketball, and not having him, is a big deal. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, if they're not looking ahead at the next game, then I'd be a little bit disappointed. That doesn't mean they don't, you've got to come out and you've got to impose your will and take care of business and win the game. There's no doubt about that. But it should almost kind of be second nature tonight, and it should happen fairly easily.
I didn't see it. You did, and I'm reading about it now. But how about Dick Vitale going off on Archie Miller yesterday on this bracketology Sesame Street stuff? He said, I don't have the clip. I don't think we have it. But he said, no, we hear all these guys say, oh, our conference is so tough. Oh, really? You made that bed. Lie in it, Vitale said. You're in that conference. I believe if you can't be 500 in your conference, that's mediocre, man. And if you're below that, you hear me, Archie Miller? You're below that you shouldn't be in. That's crap because you cannot compare the Big Ten to the freaking A-10.
You can't compare the Big Ten to any other league right now. That's what I meant. That's why when these guys keep making these dumb statements, and I would say it straight to their face, that's a stupid, ridiculous statement. It makes no sense because you can't compare two conferences that are not equal. It's so stupid for them to say that. That's truly, and Archie, had he not used the Sesame Street reference and the trash can reference,
because everything he said is right. It's how he went about it.
Right. It's
but he was a jerk how he went about it. To be honest with you, and it's not served him well because everything he said was exactly correct. And there's no way in heck you can compare the Big Ten to any other league. All you hear about how we got 8 teams ranked in the damn thing, 8 at this time of year, and it's like you cannot compare the Big Ten to anything like you said because it's not the same. It's apples to oranges.
There's no way. I mean, you can't say because a team. You can say you just straight up cannot say if you're under 500 in your conference you shouldn't make the tournament because you're not comparing apples and apples in different conferences. So that's a lot easier to do in the Atlantic 10 than it is in the Big Ten every single year, not just this year, every single year. So you cannot use that as a criteria for making the tournament. And I am just shocked at how these guys are. Joe Lunardi, he didn't make the same comment. His comment was he wanted to create his own category called too many losses, which is kind of another way of saying it. But it just, that's not a valid argument. Of course, teams in the Big Ten are going to have more losses than teams out of the Atlantic 10. Or the American Athletic Conference. I mean, of course they're going to have more losses. They're playing better teams night in and night out. So it's not a comparable scenario to be able to put those two things together. It's just that really. But let's look at it from a bigger picture. What's Archie Miller doing right now? He has taken all the focus off of his team, which comes from the greatest spin doctor in the world, of Bob Knight, who every single year, and I've said this, it took me a couple years to figure it out when I played here, but every single year he came up with some outlandish. He had the game faces one year, he had the whip one year, he slammed the phone down one year. I mean, every year he figures out a way to take the attention off of his team, and I don't know if it was intentional or not, but that's what Archie Miller's done here.
The Big Ten has more teams with double-digit losses that are ranked than any other conference has teams ranked. That's how deep the Big Ten is.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's not. And look, we're knee deep in it right now because we're in Big Ten country. Okay. But let's just say this was the ACC. I mean, let me be totally objective about it. Let's say it was the ACC or even the Big East or any of those. If those conferences were that deep and had the same scenario, a lot of times the ACC is this way. And a few years ago when they had 18 teams in the Big East, they were this way. I would be sticking up for them saying, Dick Vitale, Joe Lunardi, you cannot make that argument because they're not playing the same quality opponents. I mean, they're playing better opponents every single night. And that's where I'm shocked at these guys. Everyone that has come to Joe Lunardi's defense in this whole scenario, and that's truly where that's where I think Archie, making the Sesame Street reference in the trash can, I don't mind. He shouldn't have used Joe Lunardi's name, because if he had just said bracketologist, that lumps them all into one category. Right now, the only people I've heard defend him, Sean Farnham and Doug Gottlieb and Vitale and these guys, all they're doing is defending Joe Lunardi, saying what a good guy he is and all that. Well, I agree. I think Joe Lunardi's a good guy, and I've always respected everything he's done. These guys are just jumping to his defense right now. And I'm, I somewhat respect them for that. I just wish one of them would step out and say, look, I don't agree with what Joe Lunardi said either, because it's just not true. I mean, there's no way you can compare the two.
I think part of it, though, is railing against Archie being a little brat, is how some people are seeing it. And so that's
hey, look,
and there's something to that, but part of it is intentional, like you said, probably. So who knows? But Josh hit us up.
You know what I love about Archie? Archie sits back, and Archie right now is taking the pressure on himself. You know what? I mean, Indiana needs to win, and they need to win to shut everybody up.
Absolutely. It's game day. Couldn't ask for a better matchup, and what's going on at Nebraska to get all the tournament nerves out of the way. Josh in Jeffersonville hitting us up on the text line as well. You guys have been awesome on the text line today. You can do it too. 812-269-6367. Tebow says, does Vitale see the team that won the Big Ten overall record as 14-6 with 6 Big Ten losses? Yeah. This is more about people railing against Archie, is what it is.
It really is.
And how he behaved, and I'm in agreement that. But had this been Bob Knight, we'd all be laughing about this,
right?
But because Bob Knight's got 3 banners hanging in Assembly Hall and a ton more on Big Ten, he just has a lot behind him, and I think that's what people are saying. Hey, dude, go win something before you cry, and there's something to that, because that's back in the day. That's kind of how it was. And so, but I get it. But what he's saying is right. And it was the heat of the moment. He's frustrated. Hell, sometimes he doesn't get the effort from the guys he wants. So he's frustrated, true. He's human. He wants to win, man. So
yeah, I mean, he's
crazy.
Archie's the ultimate basket. That's why I've been saying for years, I love him as my basketball coach, as IU's basketball coach, because he's 100% basketball guy. And he's not out there, he hates doing interviews. He hates doing press conferences. He wants to be doing basketball stuff. And that, I love that part about him. Now, part of the job and part of the reason you make all the money and you do all that is because those are part of the responsibilities that you have to do. And so you go do them. And yeah, he's frustrated. He just lost a game they really, really, really wanted to win. That would have been a huge help for him. He's frustrated, and he went in there, and you could tell he kind of got going a little bit, and he fed off his own momentum. He was right a bit. And truly, the only thing I think that he would go back and change, because truly the bracketologists, when those guys start to make it personal, when they start to, start putting in their own categories now, then I don't want to hear your own category. I don't want to hear your opinion. You're not on the committee. I want to hear what you think the committee's going to do. And that part of it, like I'm 100% in agreement with Archie when it comes to that. I don't think, I'm surprised that Joe Lunardi did that, for one. I wish Archie Miller hadn't used Joe Lunardi's name, because if he'd have just lumped all the bracketologists together, I don't think we'd be dealing with this.
I agree. But we get to have the fun now, and
yeah,
I'm looking forward to that fun. Let's talk about the actual game tonight. And don't forget, after the game with Todd Leary comes to you as soon as the game's over. We don't know exactly what time that is, because we play right after the first game, but we expect it's going to be approximately
10:30-ish.
Yeah, ish. We'll be there for you regardless, because we always are. But looking forward to that. But the matchup itself, I'm going to be honest. Indiana should roll. They should cover the spread. I wouldn't bet the spread in this game personally, but they should, because Nebraska's without their 2 starting guards. You've got to bring guys. Now you got to bring guys off the bench. It'd be like Indiana going to their bench for guys that they play sparingly.
Right.
And they played sparingly, so they're really behind the 8 ball here. and Indiana should really just be able to run them off the court.
It needs to be one of those games Indiana, comes and takes control of right away, and puts themselves out at a decent lead. Now, look, I'll tell you right now, this is also one of those games you don't know what to expect. They could, if you've ever found a team that's playing with nothing to lose, it's this Nebraska team. So their season, if they lose by 1 or 30, their season's over tonight, no matter what. So they've got nothing to lose. If Indiana wins by 7 or 27, I truly could care less. I'm not going to look at them and say, hey, they didn't play very well. They only won by 7. If we're doing the after the game show and it's a win, I'll be happy that it's a win. I don't care how many points it's by.
Oh yeah, I don't mean that they have to do it.
I know you don't.
I expect it. That's what I actually expected to happen. That doesn't matter. A win's a win. They just have to win this game. I think I think they're catching Penn State, and I don't want to get ahead because we'll do that tomorrow. But that's what we do. So why not?
Sure.
I think they're catching Penn State. If they get past Nebraska, which they absolutely should, they're catching Penn State at the right time. And this is the time for them to stand up. I'm just sorry. We've said that a lot of times this year. This is it. I don't care what anybody says. Tomorrow will be the day to stand up and put your big boy pants on when you come to the gym.
Yep. I totally agree. I mean, tomorrow's game is one that, so just back to tonight's game. One thing that it can do, they play the late game. There's not a lot of other, big time games tonight at that time, in that time slot. So I think there'll be a lot of people nationally at least watching the first half of the game tonight. And it could give Indiana an opportunity to play really well and pass the eye test or at least improve the eye test for a lot of different people across the country. Now, for tomorrow's game, that is a game where, Penn State has gained some attention nationally. They've got some good players on their team. They're coached well. They generally don't beat themselves, but they're also not, they're not the most talented team in the world. And if you could pick any team to play on that second day of the Big Ten tournament, meaning tomorrow, that's the team I'd pick, to be honest with you. If I could truly pick any team that would be out there, that would be the team I would pick to play. So you said it yesterday. I like Indiana's draw. I like where they sit. But it's time to shut up and get out and put up and do it. I mean, they've got to come out and play well. Assuming they win tonight, they've got to come out, tomorrow and play really well.
Hey, make sure you go to Indiana Rivals, thehoosier.com. Sign up there. It doesn't cost you anything. We're going to be able to get you a lot of great content there, a lot of extra interviews, a lot of special things we'll be doing for you, but great coverage. Go to Rivals, thehoosier.com. All the post-game shows will be there. We're going to be moving everything over there, all the show-wise, the online-wise eventually, but just go get yourself signed up there and so you have an account. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything, but looking forward to it. And there's complete coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers along the way, especially with the Big Ten tournament. Spring football started as well. We'll hear from Tom Allen in the next hour. But, man, I was out there the other day. It was just good to be out on a football field for a minute, just kind of a change of pace. And it's weird because, man, they haven't had this – going to that bowl game this year, Todd, was a big boom for them because they play in January, so you practice right up until January.
Right.
And then you get back, and now you're in March – early March and you're practicing. So you don't really stop. That's the difference between those teams that go to a bowl game every year. This is why their teams are so good and they stay better because they basically never stop practicing.
Dude, you might as well be speaking Chinese to me right now. It's March, and you're talking about football, so you might as well be speaking a language that I'm not even, nobody's even paying attention to you right now. It's March Madness.
I'm used to that.
Give some crap about football.
That's right, and it is game day, and the Hoosiers tonight take on Nebraska at the Big Ten tournament, Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Do you think – I don't, not in this state – but do you think that the coronavirus is going to have an effect on the Big Ten attendance?
Nope.
Me either.
I do not.
I don't think IHSAA. I don't think it's going to affect IHSAA. I guarantee you Seymour will be stuffed on Saturday. Yep. Where are you going? Where do you have to play? Logansport. I've never been to that gym. Have you been in that gym?
Yep.
What is it like?
It's not bad. It's more like your traditional high school gym.
Like a 5,000 seater?
No, I don't even think it's that big. Probably like
Really?
3,500-ish.
Really?
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not good at guessing those.
Well, Seymour will be packed. It's just one of those great fun things. Righteous passages of spring, man. Like I said, I'm going back to when I was a kid. I remember being in junior high and going up there. That was just the funnest thing in the world. Regional, and Seymour, semi-state, and all this. That's a fun. If you're a high school kid, it's just pretty fun.
Yeah, well, my grandparents took me to watch Lawrence North play in Hinkle Fieldhouse in the regional back when I was in junior high, and that's when I fell in love with, that Hinkle Fieldhouse and that, high school tournament and all that stuff. Like, it's the best. It's the best.
That would have been before Hoosiers came out, wouldn't it? Because Hoosiers came out like 86.
Oh yeah, it was definitely before that. I was in high school in 86.
When you might not remember when you saw Hoosiers and you saw it, like, dude, that's where I got introduced to all this. What was that like?
Yeah, going to Hinkle Fieldhouse with 15,000 people in it back then, that are all high school fans, and it's broken out into 4 sections, and each school color is just the whole section. It's just, it's one of the best atmospheres. It's what made me fall in love. I already played basketball and loved it, but it's what really made me fall in love and want to be a part of that.
We'll talk about it more when we come back. Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary here on this Wednesday. It's game day of the Hoosiers tonight. We're back with more right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is A.J. Moye.
This is Dan Dawkins.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic. Safe. Effective. Even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
You're on the line with Jamal Meeks, former Indiana Hoosier. Number 23, 1992. And I'm on the beat with Jim Coyle.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Coy O'Leary here on this Wednesday. Appreciate you joining us as always as we come to you from the Golf Club Eagle Point Studios. It's game day. The Hoosiers in action tonight up in Bankers Life Fieldhouse, Indianapolis. The Big Ten tournament gets underway today. Northwestern, who are they playing? Forgot. Minnesota, yeah. Minnesota Northwestern play first, and then Indiana will play 30 minutes after that contest ends, which we think is going to be approximately 8:30, which means that after the game of Todd Leary will come to you approximately at 10:30. But you know where to always catch it. Most people listen after we're done anyway. But looking forward to that. I think Indiana can really get on a roll here, and that's not just blowing smoke. They have it's set up. The draw is probably as good as it could be for them. We've talked about that. This is a great feel-good opportunity today, especially with Nebraska being they're down. They're down 2 men. So you got that going for you. Then you draw Penn State next up, and they're not necessarily in a funk, but they're not playing their best ball of the season. Appreciate you joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat with Coy O'Leary. You had Calbert Cheney on with us earlier. If you missed that, you can always go back, of course, and find us wherever you listen to a podcast if you don't have us on a radio station near you. But we'll be looking forward to that. And make sure, like I said, you go to Rivals, thehoosier.com. Sign up, get yourself an account, because we're going to be providing tons of content there, lots of shows. We got a lot of great things planned over the course of the summer. We'll be at these recruiting events, these AAU events. We'll be doing our shows from there, and you can find all of that at thehoosier.com. So looking forward to that. But man, tonight, Todd, you gotta, if you're a player, you're sitting around all day long. You gotta do the stuff that you gotta do, and then you gotta go out and play this Big Ten tournament game tonight under the lights on the big stage at 8:30.
Yeah, no, here's the fun part of today for the players is, they'll get up and eat, and they'll have a shoot around fairly early because there's a game before, there's a 6:00 game tonight before Indiana's game. So they'll have to shoot around fairly early. But then they'll be back in the hotel for a good portion of the day, and there's games on all day. I mean, starting 11:30 this morning, there's games on all day. So it isn't like they'll have to sit around and watch soap operas today. They'll get to, watch some basketball across the country, and it's, there's still basketball kids at the end of the day. I mean, they love sitting around watching basketball too.
Absolutely. Plus, this is almost like doing some homework now, because anybody you're watching could potentially be an opponent next week.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. I mean, I'm telling you what we would have done. I mean, in today's world, heck, these kids may be walking around the mall for all I know. I mean, I doubt it.
I bet they're wearing a helmet with one of those screens in their face where they see a virtual world.
Games. You're
and they're walking around through these made up crazy. What's that game they all play? Fortnite. Yeah, they're all playing Fortnite because they're playing with guys across the country, I guess, right?
Is that still a thing? Is that still a thing?
I guess. I'm out. I'm out of the loop.
I thought that came and went. Who knows? I don't know.
It was a big.
I've never been a gamer, so
I never was either. Even when it came out, that was never my deal.
It used to, a lot of guys would play. The only game I ever got really addicted to playing was like Tiger Woods PGA Tour golf back in the 90s. Like, I love the golf games on there, but
you could compete on there. It's like more of a competitive level on there, isn't it?
Well, I mean, yeah, you play against the computer and you play against those things. I mean, heck, we're talking about back in the 90s.
Oh, that was some great graphics there, man. Tick,
yeah.
Tick, tick,
yeah,
tick,
exactly.
Tick.
You swing and hit the ball, and then like 20 seconds later, it ends up showing up on the screen where it went. Versus nowadays, heck, you literally are swinging a club playing.
Dude, I remember the first Atari. Bloop.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Bloop.
I would have kicked your butt in Asteroids. I love that Asteroids game.
I mean, some funny stuff. But yeah, so at least they get to go out and walk around the stadium. Probably, I guess you do a walkthrough. I mean, there's enough stuff to take up your time, and you go eat and.
Well, that's the thing. They'll be so.
But you want to rest. You got to get some rest.
They'll shoot around. Like, they'll go and do a full shoot around at some point in time in the gym today. You don't pass up any opportunity to shoot in the same gym you're going to be playing in. So they will definitely go do that. They'll probably come back and then have lunch and have a little bit of a walkthrough and that stuff. and then they'll come back before dinner time and have like a bigger walkthrough, go over the game film again, go over the matchups, and then they'll eat dinner, and then they'll have about 45 minutes before they get on the bus and head over.
Looking, man, I'm
but
excited.
It's a long day. It's a long day. When you play that 9:00 game at night on the road, it's a long day. What I'm saying today is the time will pass a lot easier. Usually, you go on the road and you're playing at Michigan State or somewhere like that, and you've got a 9:00 game, and it's not on the weekend. You've got to watch soap operas and Dr. Phil and all the stupid stuff that's on TV. Today, they'll at least be able to watch games and things like that.
I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. All right, they win tonight. Let's just give them the win tonight, and because if they don't win, going to be a blown up.
We'll be talking
week
about
tomorrow.
what NIT game we're not going to watch.
So they win tonight. They don't play again until the last game tomorrow again.
The whole tournament. They're the late game.
By that's going to be probably 9:00 tomorrow night. All right, now you got an unusual circumstance where you're playing back-to-back days and back-to-back days at very late at night. How does that affect you? Is there an effect?
I mean, yeah, there is. But here's the cool part to it is, you get used to it. Once you've done it a couple times, you should get used to it. I mean, they'll be the late game. They're obviously the late game tonight. They would be the late game tomorrow night. They would also be the late game Friday night. They would be the second game on Saturday. So, I mean, they're going to be the late game no matter what, which, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. They're going to get used to it. It's better than playing like the late game tonight and the early game tomorrow morning.
I'm wondering if it's actually an advantage because they play the day before. Penn State hasn't played for days.
I have been saying this, and it proves itself every year. Heck, Valpo just proved it in their conference tournament. When you get the opportunity to play in the gym and go through the game scenario and go through the shooting and all that. Plus, tonight will be Indiana's second game already in Bankers Life Fieldhouse. It'll be Penn State's first game there, and it'll be the first game a lot of those guys have even played there. Last year, the Big Ten tournament was in New York, and the year before that is in Washington, D.C., and, some of the older guys, Lamar Stevens and those guys, they've played here before, but maybe once. They maybe played a couple of games here. The Indiana players have all played, multiple games here. But this is the first time for Trace Jackson Davis to go through it. First time for Armand Franklin to go through it. I mean, it's the first time for a lot of these guys first time for Joey Brunk to go through it, for that matter.
Looking forward to it.
Big time.
I just keep looking at that schedule, and this could be wild. Can you imagine seeing an Indiana team if they were to make that run and get to, say, Friday? That would raise a lot of eyebrows. Not only that, though, it could raise their seed line, which would be huge for them.
Yeah, I mean, it really I've given this probably way too much thought over the last few days, but when you sit there and think about it, if they got to Friday, it would improve their seed line. If they won Friday, it would probably improve their seed line 2 spaces. At the end of the day, you know what it would do? It would raise their confidence level. I mean, that's the biggest advantage I think they can gain from this. And here's, once you've had kids, you look at these opportunities differently. Back when I was a player, I mean, I would be sick to my stomach all day today, knowing of you only get so many opportunities in life. And this today is a great opportunity for these guys to come out, play in a Big Ten tournament, have a chance to win a championship. And, once you become a parent and then your kids are doing it, it's a lot different because you can't affect the outcome other than just giving them as much encouragement as you possibly can. And so I'm like a nervous parent right now because I see the opportunity in front of these guys. I want them to take advantage of it. I want them to get all the benefits and excitement and everything that comes with it. But I can't affect the outcome. So it's really frustrating and just, it's just the nervous fan day to sit here and not know. I'd just be so disappointed if they don't get to take advantage of this opportunity for themselves.
Yeah, that's what was my point earlier. That it is, but it's time too. It's time for them to do it.
There's this is on nobody other than them. If they don't there isn't anything the coaching staff or anything that the fans or anybody else can do for them at this point. It's time for them to go out and play and do it.
This is all player driven, and this is all on the players.
And
themselves.
today truly is. I mean, I want to call it like a warm-up game. It should be a warm-up game. I mean, I'm not a coach. I'm not a player. I don't need to look at it the way it has to be looked at from their perspective. They have to win this game. They should win this game. If they don't win this game, they don't deserve to play in the NCAA tournament. So, I mean, I am looking past this game because I'm allowed to do that as a fan now. And this is a game, it should be a warm-up game. They should have zero problem winning this game tonight.
I agree, and normally that's not language that either one of us would use, but it's just a fact. It is a fact. I've thought of that earlier. I didn't say it. This should be like practice. They should be able to go out and practice and be able to. And you can't do that, but you can't treat it like a practice, of course, because that's suicide. But it should be when you on paper. But
there should be some things that the coaching staff wants to work on, and this is one of those games that you work on it in.
Yes, I'm just watching you pour that. God, he's drinking. I don't know what is that. Cold coffee?
Yeah,
he's drinking cold coffee. I know a lot of people like that. I've never gravitated towards cold coffee, but I have had some of those ice ones. They're not bad.
Well, I have never had a hot cup of coffee in my life.
Are you kidding me?
Never, not one.
Holy cow! The things you don't know, you don't know.
I know it.
Folks, the things you don't know, and that you learn right here.
I'm a Starbucks kid. I've grown up drinking those milkshakes from Starbucks.
What about hot chocolate?
I like some hot chocolate.
But why not hot coffee?
But it doesn't have caffeine in it.
Oh,
I just
it's the
don't
caffeine.
like the taste of coffee.
So what about hot decaffeinated coffee?
No. I would want the caffeine. The only reason I would drink, I just don't like the taste of coffee.
Oh, you don't like it? Oh, well, what about like one of them funky things they make at Starbucks, man?
I get a frappuccino. Like I get a frappuccino from there, but
He's a frappuccino guy.
It's like a milkshake.
Once again, the things you don't know, and you can learn right here. Awesome,
I
Dave.
am 50 years old. I'm probably beyond the point of learning that at this point. I've given up on learning.
I was talking about the fans. No, I was talking about the people, the things that they get to learn, the things they don't know that they don't know, that they get to learn simply by listening here. Oh, no, it's awesome. But so there you know, if you ever want to buy him a gift, it's a Starbucks gift card for iced coffee.
For iced coffee.
Iced coffee only.
Man. It's got chocolate chips in it and everything. Man, it's good.
That sounds like
it's got like 2,000 calories in it too.
A dessert in a cup.
It is. It's really good.
Well, they're going to burn some calories tonight, and so will we after the game live from the Tap on Mass Ave in Indianapolis, coming to you there. Of course, part of the Finney Hospitality Group, its own Yogi's. But tonight we're coming to you from the Tap in Indianapolis on Mass Ave, approximately around 10:30. Of course, we don't know exactly when Indiana's going to play their Big Ten tournament game against Nebraska. It is scheduled for approximately around 8:30, but we'll see how that works out. But we'll be there for you live regardless.
Yep. It will be, tonight's game. Hopefully, we'll be recapping just some stats and things like that, and getting ready to talk about Penn State. I mean, that's pretty. Maybe talk about some upsets that took place in other parts of the country today, because hopefully there's not one in Baker's Life Fieldhouse.
Yeah, there ought to be a lot to talk about, actually, because there's going to be a ton of basketball that has played by the time we get to that point. I mean, because their games are about the time we finish here today, the games will be starting.
Yeah.
And it's like going, and it goes basically from now until about April 6th or whenever when it stops. But man,
today is not the greatest games. I mean, there's a lot of the super high seeds are the ones that play tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. tomorrow morning.
But sometimes you get great games out of them because these guys are fighting for their life.
Yep, no doubt. I mean, they're definitely. I mean, you want to talk about a tough game? We heard him talk. We heard Mike DeCourcy talk about it yesterday in Washington out of the Pac-12. I mean, they play Arizona today. That's a 5-12 matchup in the Pac-12 championship. That is no easy game for Arizona. You heard DeCourcy say it yesterday. Washington's got 2 NBA talents that will definitely be drafted on their roster. They have just completely underachieved And, you know, that's one of the biggest implosions all year long. They beat Baylor to start the year out. I mean, Washington beat Baylor in the first week of the season and is now 15-16 on the year. I mean, they have just imploded. But they've got the talent.
I can't wait. Are we going to do a selection show?
Yes.
You know,
we got to get the times. We'll announce it tonight.
As soon as you said that, so I got a text in from a listener. Oh my gosh, were they excited? So I got to bring. I'm like, well, I guess we got to do that because man, it's a great idea. It's a great idea too. So look forward to that after the selection live with Todd Leary. There you go. After the selection show with Todd Leary, live from we don't know yet. Maybe we'll probably be at Yogi's, but who knows where we'll be.
I mean, we might as well just do it kind of during the show, playing it at like 6:00 on.
Follow along, yeah. Follow along as we'll do that. That'll be great. But we'll get more of that. We'll get all that information out to you. But we'll look forward to doing that as well. We got lots more coming up on the program here. Matt Weaver's going to join us. We'll talk a little football as spring practice is going on for Indiana. Some other teams, it's not because they're stopping it for the coronavirus. I noticed that 10 cases now in the state of Indiana. Their state officials are avoiding seniors to avoid large gatherings. That means the Big Ten tournament next week. They probably want to avoid that. But lots more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat. We're back right after that. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway, Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs, Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is A.J. Moye.
This is Dan Dawkins.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic. Safe. Effective. Even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Hey, it's Michael Lewis, former Indiana University player and current UCLA assistant basketball coach, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat.
Well, we saw it initially when we came back from the short break we had after the bowl game, that in the weight room, the comment was, man, we just feel like we just picked up right where we left off, and we were just so far ahead. in that component. And then you saw it also in spring football. And just because there's obviously there's less time between the last time we did something. But I think we had so many young guys that had all those bowl practices that are back. And so I did feel like that the first two practices had much better tempo, much better execution than you usually have when you come back from being off for this long. So I think we continue to reap the benefits of having a bowl opportunity, having a late bowl game that gave us more practices, and having so many guys that were a part of that are back with us right now. So yeah, it definitely showed up, both sides of the football.
There's Coach Tom Allen talking about the big bump that playing that bowl game got him. Welcome in Matt Weaver from Pigs.com now. Matt, how are you, sir?
I'm okay. How are you guys?
Pretty good, man. I was talking about this earlier, that it's almost like they just haven't missed a beat. And when you go to a bowl game in January and spring practice in March, but that's what all these other teams that get to go to these bowl games every year, how they're able to maintain that level of play, because you basically practice year round almost without stoppage.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing that stood out to me. These first, obviously the first practice was not open to the media, the one on Saturday, but the last two, Sunday and then yesterday morning. And the thing I noticed is I guess kind of the lack of rust. I mean, obviously it hasn't been perfect, but it doesn't look like an early spring practice where you'll see some rust, you'll see some just you can tell they haven't played football in a while, and obviously it's been since January, the 1st of January, but it doesn't look like they've been off for that long. I mean, it looked like they were right back in the flow of things. Like I said, not perfect. It's never going to be, but they are definitely further along 3 practices in of spring ball than I can remember in all the time I've covered this program. And, I think you make a great point about how when you have games at that point and there's very little downtime, it's almost like you're playing or practicing year round, and it really shows up. And you just seem to stay a lot sharper. You're starting from a much further point ahead when you start spring ball than you do when you don't go to a bowl game or something like that. So it's hopefully this is something that they can make a yearly thing, because I think it will really, really boost just the overall performance of the players in the program going forward.
Absolutely, I agree. And I agree with exactly what you said when it was out there. It's like they just stepped right back into it. And that's not just great for the players, it's good for the coaches, because you can just do so much more and get ahead. And the one caveat is that you always have new players and you got to work them in, but it sure is a lot easier to work new guys in when your veterans are already up to speed.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and you can see that, and they've obviously got quite a few newcomers, with 9 new guys in for spring ball, and so there's some new faces there, and you consider it's obviously not a full roster yet because you still got the rest of the class coming in June. It will be there for fall camp, but I kind of going back to the performance of the team, I always kind of judge how I think the team's practicing by how annoyed or for lack of a better term, pissed off the coaches are in practice. And they seem to be in a pretty good spirit. I mean, there's obviously been some correction going on, but you don't see coaches really like just frustrated or unhappy with how the guys are doing. I mean, they seem to be, they're really coaching them, and it seems to be a good vibe. I mean, it's hard to kind of explain. It's just kind of a good upbeat. It's a confident team. I think it's the best way to put it. It's a team that knows they can compete, they can win. They showed it last year, and they're confident. And while they were happy with last year's success, they're not content, and they're ready to get back out there and improve on what they did.
Yeah, and they've got a lot to not a lot to improve on, but a lot to improve with. They've got some of the most production coming back in all of the Big Ten, Matt. I mean, they of course, the big question, not question so much, but with Michael Penix coming off of that surgery, he's looked pretty decent. I mean, he's not in top form yet, of course. He's still recovering, but he's a lot further along, I think, than he was last year when he was dealing with that knee injury.
Yeah, because obviously last year he could only do basically individual stuff. He was held out of any kind of team things, anything where, and they don't hit the quarterback, but if a quarterback takes off kind of running, they usually blow it dead. But there is that chance where a guy could bump into him and he could get knocked down, obviously unintentionally. So he was held out. This year he's completely cleared for everything. And there's been a little bit of rust. I mean, as far as his physical skills, I don't notice a ton of rust. It's more the timing with the receivers, just sometimes, he might throw it to the wrong spot, or maybe they ran the wrong route and he thought they were going, stuff like that. But that's stuff that's really very correctable. It won't take long to get polished up. You kind of expect that. He's been out for a little while. But physically, obviously we saw him in person. He's definitely put on weight. His body looks better. He's still got obviously a number of months before the season starts to even make it to do more of that. But as far as throwing the ball, it looks like the same Michael Penix to me.
A lot of other positions. Of course, Samson James coming back is going to be a gigantic sigh of relief for a lot of people, especially the coaching staff, because that position, that room had gone from being running back rich to running back poor pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, last year, or not last year, but before last fall camp, we were talking about how, you had Stevie and you brought in Samson James, you had Cole Guest at that time, and Ivory Winters and Ronnie Walker, and then you were down to Stevie Scott and a true freshman and Tim Baldwin, who's never played in college football. So him coming back is big, and obviously they moved David Ellis over there. He is one of the guys that's really opened my eyes. And they haven't hit yet, but just his ability, his vision, carrying the ball. He's such a natural runner. I think we saw that last year as a kick returner and when he caught the ball as a receiver. But he's such a natural runner. He's got great vision. He cuts back. If there's a hole, he can cut it back. I mean, like I said, they haven't hit yet, not full because they haven't gone full pads. But I think he's going to be a real boost. He's also a guy. Obviously, you can put at receiver. He's really versatile, and that'll come in. That'll obviously be beneficial this season. You can move him around, do different things with him. But Samson coming back, he looks great. Physically, he looks great. Like I said, not hitting yet, but just the burst is there, and overall, and Stevie hasn't practiced yet, which they said that was going to be the case. He's just coming back from the injury. Don't need to rush him back, but that position probably maybe like to add one more guy if you could, but it's definitely not as dire as it was about a week ago.
And speaking of some of these new faces, one guy that I spoke with personally that were able to meet with, Tim Buckley Jr., running back. I don't know that I've ever been more impressed with a kid coming in ever into any sport than I was listening to him talk.
Yeah, the new running back, Tim Baldwin?
Baldwin, rather, yes. I said Buckley, former running basketball coach.
Yeah, he is. He is. And I actually – the day you guys got to speak to him, I wasn't able to come down for that, but I watched the video of it, and he was terrific. Another guy that really stood out to me as far as his presence was Dexter Williams. I was there that day when we got to talk to him as far as the media, and he's just kind of got that it factor. Now we'll see if he can play physically on the field. He looks good. He's not as raw as I thought he would be. I thought he would, he needs some more development, but he really throws the ball well. And I knew he had a strong arm. I just wondered if maybe there's some things he had to, kind of work through. But he looks good out there. He obviously, the athleticism is evident moving around. Like I said, they blow it dead. The quarterbacks it's hard for them to show how well they can run because they blow it dead so quickly. But, he's another guy that's been impressive. All these guys that we've talked to, Caleb Murphy, Luke Wigington, Dylan Powell's already been named a team leader, and he's only been here, a couple months. So it shows these guys are coming in, and it's the kind of guys that Tom Allen said he was trying to get. Now, you're not always going to bat 1,000, and if you can bat 500, that's pretty good in college football recruiting. But you're definitely getting guys that, from a personality and from a character standpoint, are what you're looking for.
Looking forward to it. Anything else? Any other big news coming up that maybe I've missed along the way? Or what do you have coming out that people need to know about?
I mean, obviously the report of got the new strength coach, Aaron Wellman, which is obviously a big deal. And I've heard he should be coming in this week, and he's getting his staff together. And obviously they got one more practice tomorrow, and then they're off all of next week. So, he'll probably be full go. I would assume he'll be full go when they come back from spring break. And it was a big hire. I know Aaron a little bit. He was a GA back when I was a manager under Coach Cameron, and then he was on the assistant strength staff for a few years, and he's had a great career. And I think it's a heck of a hire. It's hard to say. I know Dave Ballou is terrific, and it'd be hard to match up to that. But if they didn't match up completely, they came awfully close with this hire. I think Aaron Wellman was a great hire by Tom Allen, and I expect him to put together a good staff. And people, I understand why people are upset and kind of freaking out, but Tom Allen said, trust me. And I think you see what happens. He knows how to identify good people and good coaches and go get them.
Absolutely. And speaking of new coaches, he's not new, Nick Sheridan, of course, but he is new to the offensive coordinator position this year. But he's been on that staff for a while. Coach Allen talked about that he'd wanted that position originally, but he thought he was not ready yet. But now the time was right, so he is going to be calling those plays next year.
Yeah, and like I said, when this happened, I'm not trying to compare him to a Lincoln Riley or some of these other young offensive guys that are, doing big things in college football. But this is kind of the trend. I mean, these younger guys who are creative and innovative and maybe it won't work. I think it's going to. I've gotten to know Coach there, and he's a really bright guy. He obviously grew up in football. His dad's been a coach in college and in the NFL. So he grew up around the game. He obviously played at a great program in Michigan. He's been under some good coaches. So, and I think even though it was one season, I think that kind of internship, if you will, under Kalen DeBoer last year was just probably so incredibly valuable for him. And I think he's going to do a great job. I'm sure there's going to be some bumps in the road and some times where it's a little bit shaky, but that happens with everybody. I mean, that's you take the bad with the good, and I think overall he's going to do a great job.
I agree, man. Matt, I cannot thank you enough. We appreciate you as always. I hope you have a great day and a great rest of your week.
You too, guys. Take care.
You betcha. There's Matt Weaver, a good friend from Pigs, talking about some IU football information. Make sure you catch us tonight after the game with Todd Leary live from the Tap on Mass Ave in Indianapolis as we're up for the Big Ten tournament. Indiana in action against Nebraska tonight approximately around 8:30. So hopefully that goes off then. So we'll be talking to you then. And we got plenty more. Stay tuned. We're back with all that to finish out the show on Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make it tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dawkins.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic. Safe. Effective. even money saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Hi, this is AJ Moye, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary here on this Wednesday. It is Hump Day. It is Game Day. It is Let's Get At It Day. Whoo, I'm ready, man. I am ready for some tournament action. It's got me all fired up, ready to go. Got some sleep. Not really, but.
I like it, man. I like your enthusiasm. I am not game day nervous, which kind of scares me a little bit. Usually I'm nervous on game day, but tonight should be such a walkthrough. It's
relaxing. Should be relaxing.
Yep. Let's hope.
Yeah, because if it's not, it's going to be gnashing and wailing and gnashing of teeth tomorrow.
Yep,
but
no doubt.
I don't expect that. I'm looking forward to it. I wonder how many of you folks are planning on going to the Big Ten tournament. How many of you are not going because of the coronavirus? I doubt that's going to affect many people, but I hope it does. To be honest with you, if you are in that category that's elderly or really young, don't. It's not worth. Why take the risk? Because it is a risk. And it is coming, so just you can sit this one out and let the grandkids go. I don't know, but we'll see. It's going to be interesting. But the games, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking forward to watching games today, this afternoon, if I can find some time to squeeze in. But you get so excited at the beginning because man, it is just fun. I remember watching a Big East tournament game back in. This has probably been 5-6 years ago when I think it was Syracuse and somebody. They went like 6 overtimes. It was the wildest game I've ever seen in my life. It was crazy.
Well,
it's because this tournament produces that stuff.
Yeah, and there was I can't remember how many years ago it was, but there was several years ago. It was back when like the McMahon kid was at Syracuse, and they won 5 games in 5 days. I mean, they played the first day. And they had to go all the way through and win the whole thing. So it was, and they had to do it to get in the tournament, and they did it. And that's, those are the inspirational, fun stories to remember and look at. And that's when that's what, I'm sure that's what Fred Hoiberg's talking to his team about, saying that they've got a chance. I mean, teams have done it in the past. It's not like it's unprecedented.
He ain't lying. I mean, it has happened. I mean, it doesn't happen as often as we'd like to see it, but actually that's not true. Truth be told, people want to see the good teams for the most part. I mean, they want to see the big teams play. Back when Indiana was Indiana, they want to see Indiana. That's why they put them on TV. That's why they still put them on TV, because they're still a draw. People still want to see Indiana. They still want to see Duke. They want to see Kentucky. They want to see Kansas. Sometimes it's because you want to hate them. I'm not a particular fan of Kansas or Kentucky, but I like to watch them get beat.
Think about it. When people in other schools start to get into the conversation of is Indiana a blue blood or not, still after so many years of not winning it. Look at the fact of Archie Miller's comments this week, and it's been talked about every night on ESPN by a different announcer every single day. Do you think last night Dick Vitale's talking about that if Brad Underwood would have made that statement at Illinois? Nope. Or, Steve whatever at Rutgers? I mean, do you think
it gets one little blip and that'll be it?
Yeah. I mean, and probably regionalized in their little area, it probably becomes a thing for 5 minutes. But because it's said at Indiana, it's been talked about every night since Sunday, and that's just the way it is. I mean, that's how you know that Indiana's still a blue blood.
And that's what I tell people. If it's had they fallen off, yeah, they sure have.
You can't
not
lose
become
being
one.
That.
Yeah,
you can't become
not,
one in 30 years. You can't lose it in 30 years.
That's exactly right. You cannot not be one. I mean, you may be not pulling your weight, and I'll be the first one to tell you, Indiana hadn't pulled their weight like they should in the last 25 years. But that's okay. They're still a blue blood, and you better watch out because they will be back to that level. Just a matter of time.
Yep, I agree.
Sooner rather than later would be nice.
Just not been as quick as we were hoping for.
Yes, sooner rather than later would be nice. Hey, don't forget tonight if you're in India, if you're going to the Big Ten tournament, then join us for After the Game with Todd Leary live from the Tap on Mass Ave. That's where we're going to be. Of course, that's brought to you by Best Beer Incorporated of Bloomington and Henry Nethery Remax, and we thank them for that. But looking forward to it. Haven't been there since we were there back, was it December for the Crossroads that we were there?
Yep,
so it's been a minute. Looking forward to going back. It's a great facility, and it's a great location. It's right up like, 1 or 2 blocks away from Baker's Life?
Yeah, it's not far. It's like 3 or 4 blocks away. But man,
it's a walk, but it's a great it's an awesome.
It's a great venue, and they've got some great private rooms, and the food's incredible. So, yeah, I can't wait to.
I'm looking forward to all of that. What are you looking forward to tonight? Besides a win, obviously, Indiana taking on Nebraska. What are you looking forward to tonight in this tournament start?
Seeing the guys kind of get comfortable out on the court. I'm telling you, I'm going to play that up a bunch because I think it gives them an advantage. And I think, if Indiana wins tonight, I think it'll give them the advantage tomorrow night against Penn State. And then truly, think about this. I know people will look at it from the standpoint of your legs being tired, playing the third game in 3 consecutive days. But really, I mean, adrenaline will get them past that. Once it gets to Saturday or Sunday, yes, I could see their legs becoming an issue. But going into that Maryland game, you get the double bye if you're Maryland, so you don't play until Friday. You're playing a team that's going to have some confidence and momentum because they will have just won a couple of games. And I really think Indiana's got a shot at beating Maryland. I mean, Maryland is a great team, and Maryland has the capability of beating anyone in the country. But I also feel like Maryland has the capability of losing to a lot of teams also because sometimes they just don't shoot the ball very well. And they've even had games that they've won recently where, they've gone through a half and not shot the ball well at all. And they've kind of figured out a way to hang around. And then the second half, they shoot a little bit better and win. If you're playing against an Indiana team or in any team at this point in the season, and you have a half where you don't shoot the ball well, you should be down enough points so you can't come back and win. And I just think Indiana will have a chance on Friday if they get to there.
I agree with you. Wholeheartedly. What about some of these other matchups? Well, first of all, let's talk about the first matchup. You've got Northwestern and Minnesota. I think Minnesota is easily, for me, I don't even know what the spread is, but they've got to be the favorite in that game.
I don't.
I would think that's just a guess, though.
No, they are. They're an 8-point favorite. But you know what? Like, I'll be honest with you. I think Northwestern. I mean, I think Chris Collins is probably on the hot seat at Northwestern.
Oh, he's got to be.
They've got some talent. I mean, I'm surprised they haven't won more games.
They're not as good as they have been the last couple of years. They've fallen off. I mean, the last 2 years. I agree with you.
For them to finish 3-7, yeah. For them to finish 3-17 in the league, I think they could have done. I think they probably should have done better than that. To be honest with you, but so anyway, I mean, that is not that's not an easy game for Minnesota. I mean, Northwestern is a tough matchup. That's why I say, I mean, it came down to the last weekend to figure out who Indiana would play if they were that 11 seed. And I'm glad they got Nebraska because Northwestern is not. I don't think that's a team you want to play. It won't surprise me if they beat Minnesota.
Well, and the reward for beating Northwestern is to get to play the Player of the Year, Luka Garza, and the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Yeah, I mean that's. Obviously, but I mean, they're just relishing to get to that opportunity. Anything can happen at this point. And
if they're playing on Thursday, they're going to be happy.
They're going to be
people.
fine. Yep, they're going to be fine with it. So yeah, it's a. I don't know. I mean, all of these games. I mean, tomorrow's games just start getting crazy. I mean,
and you
start the morning out.
The great thing is, it's like we finish the show and just walk onto the court and start watching basketball. Tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean,
it's going to be incredible.
Michigan and Rutgers, first game to start off Thursday morning. I mean, that's going to be a great game. It is really going to be a good game. And, then you're
Rutgers is fighting. You can't forget, they're in the tournament, but if they were to lose and lose badly, I'm not saying they're going to be out, but they could be like an 11 seed because they're already down like a 10.
And here's the difference. If they lose that game, if they win that game, they're going to be in no matter what.
Yeah, they're
if they lose that game, they've got to watch the A10. They've got to watch the American Athletic.
Boom.
All of a sudden, they've got to watch all these bid stealers and bubble teams out there. You got to watch the NC States of the world, and you got to, you've all of a sudden, you got to watch Xavier. You're rooting for them to lose. I mean,
because they hasn't hurt them yet, but the bulk of the tournaments are yet to come up, and
it comes down to right now. If they win, so it kind of is a play-in game. It's a guaranteed in game if Rutgers could win that. So they're definitely playing for something. But even if they're a good team. They're coached well. They play hard. They're a good team. I mean, that's not going to be. I mean, that's a tough matchup for Michigan to have right off the bat.
Iowa would draw the winner of that Minnesota Northwestern game. Like I said, Iowa is not the team, but I'm not going to pick on them too much. They got like 7 scholarship players. They have done an unbelievable job. They have the player of the year, of course, but they have still fought and scrapped, and to be down that many guys, that's got to wear on you. Talk about wearing you out. I mean, they have just been through this Big Ten grind with only 7 scholarship players. That's a tough road to hoe, man.
Well, and you can also look around and think about, they obviously lost Bohannon, who is one of the better shooters in the entire conference. They lost him for the season fairly early on. But going into the season, they lost a player who is now starting for Kansas. They lost a player, I can't remember the Cook guy. I can't remember where he went. They lost him. He grad transferred out.
The kid from North Newburgh?
Yeah, Nunge, another 7-footer, is out, which they really could have used in the last game versus Illinois.
Did they lose one of the McCaffrey brothers? Or
one of them's not playing.
And then one of them got hurt for a while, didn't he?
There is just one injury after another for that team. And hey, look, here's the funny part. I've been saying all year long, 2 of my favorite teams to watch are Illinois and Iowa. I think Illinois is going to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. I think Iowa is one of those teams. If they shoot well, they can beat Gonzaga. I mean, if they shoot well, they can literally beat anyone. But they've not shot the ball. They've lost a lot of their firepower, and they've not shot the ball that great as of recently. So they can also lose to just about anyone if they don't shoot it very well.
Well, the game everyone will be looking forward to on Friday if Iowa gets past whomever they draw, because it's Illinois.
Yeah.
And they've already played 2 knockdown fist fight grudge match games, which you saw guys go nose to nose, and there's just not a lot of love for those guys. I mean, they're natural rivalries. They're over. It's like Indiana, Kentucky. You got Iowa and Illinois just bumping up each other. They're both trying to rise up, and Illinois is kind of a little bit above them, but that's because I think a lot of the injuries. Other than that, I think they're 2 very equal teams.
Yeah, then they are. And there's been 5 technicals called in the 2 games they've played with each other already. So you can imagine they don't like each other. The coaching staffs were screaming and yelling at each other in Iowa City in the handshake line. They actually abandoned the handshake line because of it.
Get out! He said, "Get out of here." He's that's it.
Right. So I mean, but I mean, think about tomorrow night. I mean, a game obviously that night matchup, or both games at night tomorrow night, should be awesome. I mean, Purdue and Ohio State will not shock me at all for Purdue to win that game. I actually think they will win that game. And then Indiana and Penn State, I think Indiana, I obviously am going to say Indiana's going to win. I think Indiana should win. I definitely think they'll win. But tomorrow night's, because they do them in sessions, tomorrow night's session will be just some incredibly great basketball.
Ryan from Whitmore Lake, Michigan. He's not bad on these scores. Remember, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's hit a couple real close.
He said IU wins today by 16. I can see it happening.
It could be 36.
Yeah, Josh in Jeffersonville. Hopefully the selection show will just be an extended IU post-game victory show on Sunday. Well, let me tell you, that would be something if that were the case. But
that is
good
extremely
thinking,
optimistic.
That is good thinking, though.
Like
Tebow says, did we get a strength coach from the NFL? Yep, came from the New York Giants. I think they did as good a job as they could have done replacing the guys that went to the number one college football program in America. Doubled their salary, man. Those guys were making almost $500,000 each at IU, like four something. I think Alabama doubled it. I think they took them to $1 million each.
Did they really?
Each.
That's crazy.
So Alabama has Oprah Winfrey money.
Are you sure about that?
Yes. She's got Oprah Winfrey money.
Well, that part of it I agree with.
Yeah, they just walk around just dropping cash. What you need? Okay, bam.
I saw a thing on ESPN yesterday where they said Ohio State now has 4 assistant coaches that make $1 million a year.
Oh my God. You know how many Indiana has?
0.
Exactly. Well, consider this. We're a year removed from their head coach making $1.8 million a year.
Right.
So yeah,
I knew the answer was 0 when we made a gigantic deal about Kalen DeMoore getting $800,000. So.
Yes. Oh man, I'd sure like to have a piece of it though. I'm not gonna lie to you. It'd be nice, man. It's been a great show. It has been fun as always, but and Todd's a big reason for that as always. But today, got to give a lot of credit to Calvert Cheney for joining us here on the program. Of course, Matt Weaver joined us as well. But tonight, make sure you tune in after the game with Todd Leary. We're coming to you live from the Tap on Mass Ave in Indianapolis as Indiana takes on Nebraska in the first round of the Big Ten tournament at Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to the tournament starting, man. I'm ready to go. It's start time, Todd.
My truck is started, warming up, ready to go.
He's out the door. And so are we. So I hope you have a great day. Make sure you find us on the post-game show tonight. Text it in, and we'll be there for Todd. Jake, I'm Jim Coyle, and I will see you on the radio.